Okay, we're live, day 3. Let me just get a thumbs up from my team that we're live on both YouTube and Facebook. And we'll get started. Just hanging out here for a second to see if we're good to go. I don't want to really deliver any of this great, juicy content. All right, okay. Lynn says we are good to go. So welcome everyone. Welcome back for day 3 of our Finding Joy Masterclass, how to align your business for more power, more peace, and more profit. And I am sure that today you are already, I know you're already feeling more powerful, more peaceful, and we're going to talk about how this is going to equate to more profit in your business. And now we're really starting to get into even more of the fun stuff, right? First, before we dive in, I want to say welcome, because we even had new people joining us last night. New people signed up last night for this masterclass. So I want to welcome anyone that's new. And of course, we have the replays available to you to listen to. My team is here and available to you. And but do get involved in the comments, everybody. And if you're coming at us from Facebook, please make sure to give StreamYard permission to share your name, because we're giving away today. Today's another giveaway day. And look what I'm giving away. I'm giving away one of my Finding Joy Everyday candles. Let me get this turned around here. 3 wicks to ignite. Awareness, ask, and action. It has a beautiful fragrance of plumeria, which is a natural mood uplifter. That's why I chose it, because this is a candle that I use in my awareness, and a lot of our clients use it as well. Every morning you light your candle and you have your awareness practice, and then you look at the candle. It's got 3 beautiful wicks for awareness, ask, and action to make your day be as productive and be as joyous and be full of power and peace. So this is the candle. Oh, thank you, Michelle. This is the candle. We're going to give one away today. But again, you've got to get in the comments. We want to hear from you. That's what makes this so fantastic, is hearing from you. Yes, I'm here to give you great information, but I got to tell you, it's your comments that really help, all right? And really make it full of energy. Let's see what Sherry has to say. Fantastic. I did feel like a million priorities were pulling me in all directions. This was definitely a hidden trigger. Oh, it is for so many people, Sherry. What you shared about strategy, especially your solution. That is fantastic. I just love this. Thank you. I'm so great. And I love the word that you use, that it's a relief. And it is. It's a huge sigh of relief. And when we feel relief and we feel on course, we do feel we're more powerful, right? Because we know that what we're doing is the right thing. And we feel more peace. We're at peace because we know what we're doing is on course and it's the right thing. So I love that. Thank you. Everybody getting involved. So get involved with StreamYard. Get involved if you're on YouTube. Share your comments, because this is what really makes these classes so valuable. So we talked about the giveaway. Let's do just a quick recap of the week. So on Monday, of course, we talked about the first step in alignment, which is your awareness. And I think everybody here has been practicing their awareness now for a couple of days. I know I had several of you on the private Facebook group today at 8 a.m. or 7 a.m. for the morning practice. We went through 5 minutes of stillness, and then we went through 5 minutes of journaling. And it was just great. I loved seeing you all there to do this practice. And I want you to really I invite you to commit to this practice every day, every morning. Every morning, commit to this awareness, ask, and action process, because this is what's going to fuel you every day to make your days full of power, peace, and profit. And I'll be honest with you, in terms of that awareness piece, I would never start my day without it. It's kind of like the example I want to give you. It's kind of like the mask, during the pandemic, when there was a mask in effect, and still there's mask is optional in many places now. But I actually look at my morning awareness practice, my ritual. I look at that like the mask. Like I would not leave home without doing it. I would never leave my house, talk to a client, meet with anybody. I just would not do it without having my awareness practice first. Why? Because it puts that imprint on my day. It puts that imprint on my day. I know where I'm going. I know what I'm doing, and I feel at peace. So I love that. And let's see what Sherry has to say. The domino effect. Strategy does knock into the time management. You're absolutely right. You're a planner, great, and completion oriented, but was feeling overwhelmed and frustrated. This is great. I love it. And you know, you're here because you want to grow. You want that personal development. And that's why you're all getting so much out of this, because you have that mindset. I want to get better. I want to be better. And you know what the opposite of growth is? We all know, right? If you're not growing, you're right. So we want to keep growing. And I'm so glad. That's why I'm so glad you're here. So that was Monday, the awareness. Now, once you develop that awareness, next comes the ask. We can ask ourselves those questions, right? We can ask our questions about, look at tolerations. That was a big one yesterday. So if you feel so called, I think you can tell this is a safe space and everyone's so supportive. I'd love to hear about your tolerations. Like, did somebody really like, oh my gosh, this is something I'm tolerating. It just came out yesterday when you were writing, and you're already thinking about the step you can take to remove it. Would love to hear from anyone that would be willing to share a toleration. That would really be great. Like something that's just been preventing you, but you didn't even realize. That's the thing about a toleration. You don't even realize sometimes that a messy desk, for example, that a messy desk could be holding you back from your next new client. You don't even realize. I'll give you a perfect example. When my kids when they weren't in college, when they were still at home, my kids would come in from school. Our house was the hangout house because we only lived 3 blocks from the high school. So everybody came to our house after school for snacks and to do their homework and to hang out and play, video games, whatever. And they would all pile up their shoes at the front of the door. I mean, I took a picture once and posted it. I think we had like 20 pair of shoes at the front door. But you know what? That was a toleration for me, because I would come in from work or from meeting a client or the grocery store, and I would trip over all those shoes. So finally, I realized that it was starting to affect my attitude every day. I was not happy. So I actually ended up getting a shoebox, just a shoebox by the front door. And the kids knew that they had to put their shoes in that box because I was tired of tripping, but it was working on me. I didn't feel peaceful. I didn't feel, these things. Katja, I thank you so much for being so transparent. I'm tolerating a messy bedroom. Yes. See? When you go to, I've done that before. When you go in to go to bed at night, you're frustrated, right? Because the bedroom's messy. So you don't feel peaceful when you're about to go to sleep. And then when you wake up in the morning, you see it. I completely get that. So what can you do? What are you going to do about it? You know what? I'll tell you, I will bet if you set an alarm, maybe this weekend or whenever you have time, if you set an alarm for 30 minutes and see what you could get done in that bedroom in 30 minutes, you'll be shocked. That's what I do. I'll give you guys another tip about tolerations. I always set a timer for 30 minutes. And then I see how much can I get done in 30 minutes, because then I don't feel like it's taking my whole day. It's not taking me away from the things that I want to get done, the things I enjoy, but 30 minutes. I'm going to give this 30 minutes and see what I could do. I'm always shocked about how much I get done. So that's a quick tip. Thank you for sharing that, because this is tolerations. They drain us mentally. They drain us physically. And guess what else? They drain us financially. That's what tolerations do. Excuse me, I've got a little bit of a sore throat today. I apologize. Sherry, I'm tolerating an office that has too many distractions. It serves 3 purposes. Good one. Excellent. See, you are going to be surprised, both Katja and Sherry sharing this. You're going to be surprised at just by taking care of this one area of your home and office, how much better of a leader you're going to be, how much more you're going to be for your clients. It's unbelievable. I so apologize for this little tweak in my throat. Let me drink a little bit of water. So sorry. Mickey, I'm what are you I'm tolerating issues with QuickBooks. Not my genius. Yay. So she's going to get someone else to help her. I love that. And she's going to reconcile by June 15th to do that. That is fantastic. And how to include the fee in my QuickBooks invoices. Yes. I love this. So sorry, everybody. Just bear with me here for a minute. So it is when we start to eliminate these tolerations that we can then get into the action. And that's what today is all about. We're starting the action process. Today, we're going to start looking at how do I create a vision for what matters most? How do I create a vision for what matters most in my business? What do you envision, right? And by acknowledging and starting to remove these tolerations, you can free yourself up. You can free your mind to really think about the vision for what you want to create most right now. But before we dive into the questions, I have two excellent questions for you on how to create that new vision. I want to circle back and talk about one of our hidden triggers, fear. Fear is one of our hidden triggers. We talked about it on Monday. And I want to caution you. When you have something that you really want to have happen in your life and your business, fear is going to step right in and try to quash that dream. It's going to try to squash that dream. And I don't want that to happen to you today as you answer these two questions I'm about to give you. Fear feeds off of our creativity and it tries to quash it. Remember the other day on Monday, I said that fear is a natural partner to creativity. Well, creativity is what we're going to be using now. We're going to turn that on in our minds. We're going to turn on that creativity and we're going to use it to answer these questions. Hold on, let me just check here. My team is sending me a message. Yeah, I don't know how to do that. Okay. So hold on one second. Okay, I think I'm better now. Thank you. Thank you, Lynn, for that tip. So let's get back to this. So sorry. Let's not give in to the fear. I want you to think really big today. I want you to think really big. I want you to open your mind. I want you to feel like the whole world is your oyster. I want you to feel like this is something that you can do, that this is something that you will do, because I believe that each one of you can. So here are your two questions. Jot down some notes because I'd love to hear in the chat what you wrote down. So these are two excellent deep questions for creating a vision for what matters most for you. Here's the first one. What will I regret in the next 6 months that I could do? So that means you can do it. And I want it. I want to do this. But I keep waiting for the right time. I'm going to repeat it. Write down the answer to this. What will I regret in the next 6 months that I could do? And I want to do it. I think about it all the time. But I've just been waiting for the right time. I'd love to get your feedback on that. This is so important. 6 months, which we're just at the top of the year now, almost to June. So really by the end of the year, what is it that I want to take, that I want to do, that I want to realize by the end of this year? And I keep thinking the right time is going to show up for me, but it just never seems to show up. What is it? And I'd love to hear from you if you want to share, if something just popped out at you. You know, we're all waiting for the right time. And you know what? There's never a right time. There's never a right time to start a business. There's never a right time to have a baby. I think everybody here knows that. There's never a right time to really do anything. You just have to put one foot in front of the other, put your plan together. And we're going to talk about creating those goals today. We're going to dive into quarterly goals in just a little bit. But stop putting it off. Stop putting off something that you want to do, and let's just do it now. Okay, let's just do this thing. Oh, Katya, start a podcast. Oh boy, do I know a lot about that. We've had our podcast will be 5 years old in October, right? My team, yeah, we'll be 5 years old in October, and we know all about podcasting. We've won several awards. It is a worthwhile cause, and it has helped our business. So I love that you're thinking about starting a podcast. So that's great. So let's not put it off. You've been thinking about it. You've been waiting for the right time. This is the right time. This is the right time right now to start your podcast. You know why? Because people, especially now in the summertime, people have that more free time. They're out exercising, riding their bikes, taking family vacations, and they want to listen. They want something to listen to. So I say, write it down today. Let's get those goals. I love it. Sherry, get my website live and record my first audiobook. Yes, I love that. All right, you can do it. So the right time is right now. That's why you're here this week. The right time is right now. Okay. A quick little metaphor story that I will tell you that I just shared with my Align community around this is, you know, when I took a hike with my dog the other day, and I noticed that I was walking by some creeks and some, you know, that were feeding into also to a larger river, and that water was just flowing and it was just gushing. You know why? Because winter is over, and that snow that's been encased in the mountain is melting because it's getting warmer, and that water comes right down into those creeks and flows right into that river, and it's just gush, gush, gush. And what it reminded me of is this: the clock is ticking, the water's flowing. Time is going by. Time is happening. Time is every day. A new sunrise comes up. What are we doing every day? So stop waiting. We're going to start doing. And I'm going to help you start today to put it down on paper. We're going to work on that. So that's your first question. Love it, love it, love it. And that's fantastic. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's great. Michelle, I moved last year and still have unpacked boxes in my office, constantly searching for things. All right, Michelle, we know you're going to get that taken care of. I know that you're having some work done on your house. So, but let's set a deadline for that. I love that. These are great shares, ladies. These are such great shares. Okay. Now, here's the second question that I want to share. And some of this, actually, Katya, you may be answering, this may be the same answer to the second question too, but let's see. What will I regret? And I use the word regret because I don't want you to have any regrets. I don't want anybody here to have any regrets. But what will I regret in the next 6 months that I really want to do, but I'm not sure how to get started? So, do you have a different answer? Does anybody have a different answer to that question? What will I regret in the next 6 months that I want to do? I really want to do it, but I just can't figure out how to get started. Anybody have a different answer? Or, because I'd love to hear that. You know, it's not that you're waiting. It's just like, I just don't know how to get my feet wet. I just don't know how to really make that happen. So write it down. Write it down. And we're going to talk about goal setting in just a few minutes and how to bring some of this stuff to fruition. But this is the perfect time. This is the perfect time. If you have been thinking before you came to this masterclass, and I know some of you have, because this is natural and everybody thinks this, but I want to help you out here. Maybe you've been thinking, wow, it's the middle of the year. It's almost June, and I have not accomplished the things that I want to accomplish right now. And that's part of the reason why I scheduled this masterclass for now in May. Right now is the perfect time. I just said this to my Align community to course correct. Right now is the time to say, let me take a look at what's going on in my business. What do I need to spend more of my time on? What is something new I want to do? Like you said, the podcast. Or is there something I need to let go of so I can make room for something new? This is typically what's going on with most people. We're holding on to something that we really should let go of. It's, I sometimes use the term, it's past the sell-by date. So do you have a product or a service in your business that's past the sell-by date and it's really time to let go? Or, is there something new, brand new that you want to bring? And I know Katya said the podcast, so she's already answered it. Great work. But, let's take an inventory here today of your business. And let's really look at, what do I really want to do by the end of the year? And let's start right now. And I'm going to help you with the goals on that. Now, I want you to turn to page 13 of your workbook. Sharing my stories more often and talking to great people. Well, yes, podcasting does fall into that category. And I love that you said, I suppose, because podcasting can help. Scheduling coffees and lunches with people. And if you're, who knows what's going on in your area, if you feel like, gosh, sometimes I don't feel like I can go out and gather with that many people. I cannot tell you the number of Zoom coffees and Zoom lunches I have done, just sitting right here at my desk. People really love that, especially in LA. People in LA love the idea now of Zoom coffee and Zoom lunch. You know why? Because in LA, to go have lunch with someone will take half your day because of the traffic. So, I'm in Park City right now, but I live in Los Angeles. I'm just up here for a little vacation. And I actually planned this because I wanted to be here when I did this masterclass, because I'm here all by myself and I can totally focus on you. So Zoom coffees, Zoom networking, connections, podcast, getting in front of people, being visible. All right. So let's go to page 13 in the workbook. And this is your quarterly goals page. This is how, Katya, you're going to start the podcast. Sherry, this is how you're going to get your website live and record your first audiobook. And Michelle, this is where you're going to write down, when you're going to get those boxes unpacked for sure. All right. So maybe in the past, you've had a goal and you didn't achieve it. I don't want you to beat yourself up about that, because I'm going to change right now today. I'm going to change how you think about goal setting. And I'm going to share with you how to set goals so that you achieve them. And we're going to talk about it today, and we're going to keep talking about it tomorrow at the beginning of our class, because this is really important. It's important to have a vision. It's important to have awareness and ask the questions. But there's that third piece that brings it all together: action. Action. It means we're no longer going to think about it, but we're actually going to take action on it. And one of my favorite quotes of all, I think it's my favorite quote of all time, is from Einstein: vision without execution is merely hallucination. Einstein said that. So vision is good. Mission is good. Intention is good, but we have to put it into action, right? So let's talk about that for a few minutes. What are the 3 reasons typically why we don't achieve a goal or a dream that we've set out, or a vision that we've set out to achieve? I'm going to tell you there are 3 reasons why, and we're going to fix this today. The first reason we typically don't achieve certain goals is that we don't write them down. We don't write them down. It's here. It's in our head. Oh, I'd really like to start a podcast. Seems like it could help my business and be a lot of fun. Or you're thinking, well, I want to get that website and my audiobook. But see, we're talking to the committee of one. That's what I call it, the committee of one. And we haven't written it down. It's just in here. The problem with that is, the challenge is, because I've done this before myself, it's in here. And guess what else is in here? Everything's in here. Everything about your business, your family, your friends, everything that's going on in your life, it's right here. So one of the steps to really achieving a goal that you really want, that you long for, is to write it down, right? So that's why we have page 13 there for you, to write down the goal. Just write it down there at the top above the months of the year. Just write down, what is it that I want to accomplish, that I want to do, either because I'm tired of waiting for the right time, or I don't know how, but I'm going to figure out how. Write it down on that at the top. Now, that's the first thing. We have to write it down. What's the second reason a lot of times that our goals don't get accomplished? It's because we don't tell anyone. We don't tell anyone. When we tell someone about a goal or a dream, something that we really want to bring to fruition, you know what that does? It immediately puts accountability in motion. We immediately are in accountability. Why? Because when let's say we tell our best friend, or we tell somebody on our team, or we tell, a colleague, the next time you talk to them or have coffee or lunch with them, chances are, what are they going to ask? Hey, Joy, how's that going? You said you're going to start that podcast. You're going to create that audiobook. How are you doing on that? You don't want to not have the answer, right? Oh, I never really got started with that, right? So writing it down and telling someone. That's why having a coach, I recommend for everybody here, everybody should have a coach, because you want to have a trusted partner, a trusted thinking partner that you can tell and be accountable to. That's how you bring things to fruition. And actually, you're going to meet a couple people tomorrow that are going to talk about how they've really accomplished a lot of their goals. And it's a lot of what I'm just telling you. So the third reason, so we talked about, you got to write it down. You got to tell somebody so you have that accountability. And the third one, and it's probably the biggest one of all, is you probably didn't break it down into bite-sized pieces, right? We write down this goal. I'm going to use Katya for a minute because podcasting is something I know a lot about. Podcast. I want to start a podcast. Well, we have to break it down into bite-sized pieces. What's the first thing I need to do? What's the second thing I need to do? What's the third thing I need to do? And that is really the three reasons why we don't achieve our goals. But now everybody here knows those three reasons. So we're going to change that. Okay. So let's look at, I'm just going to use Katya's example for podcast for a second. So what would one of the first steps, and I want you to be looking at page 13, go to your May, June, and you'll see that on each side, you have the action steps. You have one column for action steps and one for resources, right? And then what you do is you need to start writing down, what are the action steps that I can take for the remainder of May? We've got about a week left. And then what are the action steps I need to start taking in June? What do I want to accomplish by June 30th to get my podcast started? Well, one of the first things that you ask yourself if you're going to start a podcast is, believe it or not, is why. Why do I want to start a podcast in this example? Because when you can answer the why, you'll know what kind of a podcast you want to start, because they're all different kinds, right? They're the type where you do interviews with other people. They're the type where it's just you talking and giving away your knowledge to people to show people your genius or superpower. I mean, there's video podcasts, there's audio podcasts. So you want to decide why and what kind. Those are really two steps, why and what kind. So if I were you, Katya, I would say, okay, by June 1st, I'm going to figure that part out. And then we can talk about what happens in June to get this going, to bring it to fruition. I'll tell you a quick story about the podcast. I told my team on July 15th, 4.5 years ago, I remember where I was sitting. I was actually here in Park City. I told them on a team call on July 15th that we were starting a podcast and we were going to launch our first episode on September 25th. You guys remember that? I'm looking at my team. Yeah. So I gave us about 2 months and we launched with 6 episodes. But you see, we had to break it down. Oh, thanks, Mickey, for asking. You missed the number one reason. 3 reasons why we don't accomplish a goal. We don't write it down. That's the first one. We keep it in our head. You have to write it down and put it on paper. You have to look at it often. Number 2, you have to tell someone, so you're accountable. Number 3, you have to break it down into bite-sized pieces. I'm thinking about Sherry with her audiobook, right? The audiobook is just start recording it. Just start speaking into your phone, your thoughts and your ideas, and then have a service like we use rev.com, but you can use, there are all kinds of services. That's just what we use. Find the one that you like and just start recording and get it transcribed and then look at it. And you can always edit it. Just when you go out for a walk, you could start with your phone, just recording right into the phone. I do this all the time. I send audio messages to everybody because it saves time, but then you can get those recorded and let me know if that helps. So it's about taking that step, and that's a domino effect. It's about taking that first step. So on page 13, you've got your quarterly goals from now through the end of 2022. So you can start looking at, what am I going to do between now and the end of May? What am I going to do in June, right? By the end of June. And then the new quarter starts, July, August, September. What do I want to accomplish by the time September 30th comes? This is how you set goals and you make them happen. And then you review them, obviously daily. We're going to talk a lot about visualizing and manifesting, not only today, tomorrow, but we're going to spend a lot of time on that on Friday, on our last masterclass this week. We're going to talk a lot about visualizing and manifesting because I have some great tips, shortcuts, and things that work that I have used in my life that have absolutely helped me accomplish my goals. So I love hearing from you. Is there anybody else that wants to share something that they want to get done before the end of the year? They're not going to wait any longer, and they don't care that they don't know how to do it. They're going to start figuring out how to do it. Would love to hear from anybody here about that. Would be fantastic. So this is why certain people, you may look at certain people and you may say, gosh, it just seems like she accomplishes so much. She gets so much done. Whoever she is for you, whoever she is, she's no different from you. The only difference is she's not any smarter. She's not any prettier. She's not any taller. She's not any thinner. None of those things. What she is she's doing these things I'm telling you. She's setting a goal. She's convicted. She's got a lot of conviction about this goal. She wants to make it happen. She knows this is what matters most. She doesn't want to come up till the end of the year and not have made great strides, either accomplish the goal or even almost there to the end. And she's sticking to it. And you have to review this stuff every day. It just takes a couple of minutes. And you just have to say, okay, am I staying on course? How's it going? And I would love any comments or thoughts you have on that. Is there something you've done in the past that didn't work? Maybe it's something where I can help you, work through that. So again, goal setting is really important. I want you to, and I want to make sure right now that you're writing something down, that you're answering both the questions. Okay, you're answering both those questions I asked. And then you're writing down, what's the next step I can take to start to make this goal a reality? What is the next step I can take to really get this podcast going? I shared that with Katya already. I shared with Sherry, just start recording the ideas for your audiobook in your phone and then get it transcribed, see what transpires. It comes together. I can't tell you the number of people that I have met that have written books, whole books, 300-page books, by just going for a walk and doing the audio recording, then getting it transcribed, and then they have it, a professional editor, someone edit it for them. So simple. So let's look at this. I really, my goal for you today is really about honing in on, what do I really want to happen in my life that I've been waiting for, or in my business, that will make me feel like I've stepped into my power, that I am at peace with my decision, and that I just know that as I share it with other people, I'm going to make the money from it. What is that? Because this is the place to do it right here today. You've blocked this time. This is the place to really write down what's so meaningful to you. And I say here and now today to write it down, because when you leave this masterclass today, you're going to get busy. You're going to be getting text messages and emails. Maybe have another meeting that you have to go to. I'm sure you do. And I want you to, this is the gift of time. This is your gift of time to really write down what's most meaningful to you, what's really longing to you. And then let's put this into practice. Is anybody have a question or Does anybody are you stumped on what you should write down for a next step for May and maybe even into early June on your quarterly goal sheet? Because I want you to fill these quarterly goal sheets out. I want them to be full. What do I need to do by, the end of the third quarter? And then how do I bring this dream home? How do I bring this goal home by December 31st? One of the things that I always say to my private clients is, what do you want to raise your glass to on New Year's Eve to celebrate? What is it you want to raise up that glass to on December 31st at the end of the year to say, you know what? I'm here. I want to celebrate this achievement. What is it? Because that's what we want to write down today. Because here we are right in the middle of the new year or the year, right in the middle of the year. What do you want to happen? What do you want to start taking action on today that in 6 months, that's in 180 days. It's not that far away, and so much can be accomplished in 180 days, right? Once you review those goals, course correct, it's really checking in on yourself, checking yourself on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis as to how much progress am I making? What's gotten in my way? How can I remove that toleration so that I can keep moving with my goals, right? This is what it's all about. This is now where we take everything we've been working on Monday and Tuesday, and now shifting that into an action, right? And let me back up for a minute, because what's really coming up for me right now is this is where we can start to pull back a little. This is where we can start to feel maybe a little fear, being a little scared, maybe having a little anxiety. Why? Because Monday and Tuesday were about becoming aware with ourselves, being inside ourselves, understanding what's happening inside of us and what we truly want. And then yesterday was about really asking those revealing questions about the tolerations and what are you pretending not to know? And today today I'm asking you to actually write down, what is it that I really have been longing for in my business? And I've just been waiting for that right time, which you're very smart women, the right time never shows up. It's just about taking an action step today, or I don't know everything there is to know about doing this, starting a podcast, doing that audiobook, but I'm going to take a chance, and I'm going to start looking into this and figuring it out. And are you going to stumble? You bet. You're going to stumble. It's just like the story I told you yesterday with us. Boy, did we stumble with StreamYard, right, team? When we were so excited about StreamYard, and we're like, oh, we're going to go on Zoom. We're going to do all of this. And then lo and behold, it's like, oh, we're not going to go on Zoom, So you're going to stumble, but that's why you have that awareness practice and the asking to start to remove things so that you can just keep moving on. And that's how we find joy every day. When we run into people who seem like they're finding joy every day, it's because they're taking action and they're course correcting, and they know that they're going to fall down, but they're going to get up again. It's never about how many times you fall down. It is never about how many times you fall down, ladies. It's about how many times you get up. This is great. Even though I had written down the goals of the website and audiobook, it never seemed to get prioritized. Because of what I now realize is due to misaligned strategy. Trying to do everything at once and not breaking it down. Hallelujah. Amen, sister. This is it right here. You've got it. You've said it. Okay. Even though you had written it down, because when we're trying to do everything, everything's hot, everything's a priority, then nothing gets done, right? I'll tell you something I said to my team yesterday, because you guys, I hope you know by now, those of you who are just getting to know me, I'm very transparent, right? I'm very transparent. I like to tell you everything that goes wrong so that you don't make those mistakes. So one of the things, we have a lot going on. We have big dreams and big visions here at our company, and we have a lot going on all the time. And yesterday felt like, to all of us, like, oh my gosh, we've got so much to do, to create this vision, to create this mission and intention of helping all these women, get aligned and find more joy. And I woke up this morning and I sent an audio. My team will tell you, I sent an audio, and you know what I said to them? And this will help you prioritize your goals. I said to them, you know what? we're not saving small children's lives. This is true story. I said, we're not saving small children's lives. What we're doing is we're helping as many women as possible align their businesses and find more joy every day. I said, so we have a great mission and it's very important to the planet, what we're doing. But you know what? We don't have to do it in the next 5 minutes. So let's reprioritize our goals for the day and let's figure out what's most important. Got that? So just stop when you're feeling overwhelmed and you're feeling like, gosh, there's so many priorities. You want to ask yourself, what are the top three high value priorities for the day? What are the top 3 high value priorities for the day? Remember, we talked about this yesterday. You can't do everything. But what you can do is you can take action on 3 of your top high value priorities. So what are high value priorities? So thank you, Sherry. See, when Sherry chimed in with her comment, it really spurred deeper thinking for me. Your comments are really what makes this masterclass so helpful. Okay. Dishes and laundry are probably not a high value priority unless you don't have any dishes to eat off of or any clothes to wear. So when you are looking to change the world and make an impact, which I know every woman here is, or you wouldn't be here, sometimes you got to let some things go and work on the mission and the vision, right? So you have to stay focused on what are my top 3 high value priorities for the day. And make sure you take action on those early in the morning. Remember, eat a frog for breakfast? Take action as early as possible, because the longer the day goes on, the more things that can go wrong, and then you don't get to it. So I'm going to really invite you to use those mornings wisely. The other thing I want to share with you is this. I want you to, as soon as you can in your business, to outsource, automate, delete, or delegate everything possible. A quick story about a client I had. This goes back 5 to 7 years ago. I told this in my last group because somebody really needed to hear it, in this group. It's an amazing group of women. I had a client whose business was really growing and really in scale mode. But she was still trying to do everything herself. And so I put her through an exercise, and I'm going to challenge each one of you to do this as well. I want, what you can do is I invite you to write down or document on your phone. It could be electronic or pen and paper. It doesn't matter. I'm going to invite you to write down every single thing you're doing in your business every day. And that is down to just picking up a file folder. Whatever it is, write down everything for either 5 days or 10 days. You can do it for 1 week or 2 weeks. That's up to you. Write down everything you're doing. Okay? And then when you write all those things down, here's where the real genius is revealed. After you do that, I want you to circle in a red pen only the things that you can do. Only the things that you can do. No one else can do it, right? My client who did this exercise, she had 40 things on her list that she did in her business, 40 different things. But you know what was really the big reveal for her? She only had 3 red circles. There were only 3 things out of the 40 that only she could do. So what do you think I told her? I said, as soon as possible, you want to delegate or automate out as many of those 37 items as you can. Now, it's a process. It takes time, but you just start chipping away at it. I love this. The most difficult task is always first. So true. Get it over with. Love to know who wrote this. It's a Facebook user, and you have to give StreamYard permission to record your name. But yes, eat a frog for breakfast. Do the most difficult thing first. But I'm going to challenge you. I will tell you, let's see, I guess it was 14 years ago, because I think Lynn has been with me for 14 years. Correct me if I'm wrong, Lynn, maybe 15. I brought Lynn onto the team 8 hours a month, 2 hours a week. You know why? Because I'm not tech savvy. I'm not technical. I don't need to be technical. That's not my genius. That's her genius. And she helped get out the emails, the newsletters, the blog posts. And what did that do? That helped my visibility, and that helped my client base grow by doing that. So was it a wise investment? You bet. Because if I was stuck trying to figure that out, it would have taken me probably 3 times as long, and I wouldn't have had that extra time to be out networking and talking to other people and making those connections. So I just want to throw that out there. As you're starting to work on these big goals that you've been putting off, you will need to think about, who can I get to help me? And never forget about interns. Never forget about interns or college students, graduate students. Sometimes they need to work, they actually just need the hours so you can get them for free. I have a lot of clients who've done this. And also college students, they're, graduate students, people who are in graduate school. These are smart people and they want part-time jobs. So I'm just throwing that out to you, giving you some suggestions on how you can get some help in your business. It's Katri. Okay, Katri made that comment. She's got the frog. Fantastic. Love that. All right. So I hope everybody got a lot out of this session. What is going to be our Finding Joy focused activity for today? Well, it's going to be practicing your stillness. I want you to practice your 5 minutes of stillness either this evening or tomorrow morning, whenever you have that time. And then I want you to journal about, what's my vision? Journal about those 2 questions. I really want you to flesh it out. The more specific that you get about this goal, like Katya for your podcast or Sherry for your audiobook, the more specific that you can get in your writing about what you want this to look like, what you want it to be like, maybe the color of the logo for it, the name for it, the more specific that you get, the more likely it is to come true. And then I want you to start filling in that page 13 in your workbook. What do I need to do this week? What do I need to do next week? What do I need to do in the month of June? Follow? What do I need to do? Now that was, I showed you the action steps. If you look to the far right column, you're going to see the resources, right? What does that mean? Resources are, what are the things that I need to make this come true, to make this vision come true, this goal come true, that are outside of my control. So let me give you a couple of examples. Maybe you need a new headshot, for your website or for your podcast or for your audiobook to go in the back of your audiobook, when you've got it on your website. Then that means an outsourced resource would be what? A photographer. Maybe you need a photographer, so write that down. Another example, maybe you're thinking that you're going to start doing more video or going live, just like I am here today. What do you need for that? Maybe you need better lighting. I've got two sets of lighting on me right now. I've got all the windows open and I've got different sets of lighting on me. So do you need to invest, which it's so inexpensive. I don't think I paid more than $40 for either one. Do you need better lighting for your lives or for your videos, maybe pre-recorded videos that you're going to do to market your podcast or to market your audiobook? I'm just throwing out ideas for you because I really want you to get this concept. What are the resources that are outside of me that I don't have right now that I need to bring this goal to fruition, right? Okay. Let's see. What else? I think that's it. Please, I'm going to stay here for a minute before I talk about the rest of tomorrow and today. Any questions? Because we're getting into action now. Any questions that's coming up for anyone that you'd like to get answered before we move on? Is everybody clear about what it means for that quarterly goal page, how to break it down, how to use your resources column? Because this is what will really help you. And while I give you guys a minute to think about that, stay with me. I just want to look through all these comments. Wow. Oh my goodness. Got so many people. Okay. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Look at all of these. Okay. All right. I've got to give away a candle, right? I've got to give away a candle today. So you guys have been so good. So just if you have a comment, please add it because I want to answer your questions before we leave in a moment. But here's the Finding Joy candle, finding joy every day, right? 3 wicks to ignite awareness, ask, and action. I use this every morning when I practice my awareness. I light the candle. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give away, I know I said I was going to give away one, but I'm giving away two, okay? Because that's just how I am, who I am. All right. So today I'm looking through the feed. Boy, a lot of people were really excited and adding a lot. But I will tell you, the two people that are going to get the candles today is Sherry Walter is going to get a candle, and Mickey Marafino. One of these candles are coming to each of you today, or not today, but as soon as they can ship it out. All right. So the Finding Joy candle, you're going to love it. So those two candles we're giving away. And for the rest of you, please, if you have a question, you're welcome, Mickey. If you have a question, or there's, our team is here for you. You know how to reach Kathy. You can reach me in the Facebook group. But this is really these next 2 days, today and then these next 2 days, tomorrow and Friday, please be here, because I'm going to share with you. Again, we're going to dive deeper into the goals. I'm hoping you'll come back tomorrow with some of the stuff that I love that. I hope that you'll come back with questions and let me know what you learned, or what you learned tonight by looking at, or tomorrow morning, about this vision. Did you come up with against some fear? You can also write to me about this in the private Facebook group. Did you come up against some fear? Did you stop and sort of freeze because you weren't sure what to do, right? I really want to help you through this, because I want you to have more power, peace, and more profit in your business. But this is where we start tying it all together in a nice thread, where we start to take that action. So tomorrow, more on quarterly goals. I'm going to have some great examples, some women coming on to talk with you about how they have aligned their business and accomplished their goals. And then on Friday, we're going to talk about visualizing and manifesting in action, right? So how to take those quarterly goals that you set and really make them happen. All right. All right. This was so great. So happy to have you all here. I'll see you back here tomorrow at 12 p.m. PT. Bring your workbooks, get ready to roll up your sleeves. Let's dive in and let's make this happen. Okay? All right. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for all the comments. Really appreciate it. This is such a great group. And I'll see you all back here tomorrow on the broadcast at 12 noon Pacific. Okay? Be well, stay aligned, and find some joy this afternoon.